Welcome back to AM Northwest. Hey, if you're stuck in a rut, roasting vegetables the same way every time, our next guest is here to help. Here to share 2 simple methods to improve your veggie game. We welcome back Director of Education at Christopher Kimball's Milk Street, Rosie Gill. Rosie, great to see you again.
Hi, Helen. It's so good to see you. How are you doing?
Good. So you have some ideas for us. Let's get started.
I do. People get in veggie ruts. So first, when I say butternut squash ravioli with sage and Parmesan and brown butter, have you had that before?
Oh my gosh, that sounds incredible. Look at that.
Right.
Oh, wow.
It's awesome. But sometimes maybe we don't have homemade ravioli at hand, but
Right.
we have a butternut squash
Yeah.
that's been hanging around in the, on the counter for a long time. What we like to do is take inspiration from flavors and dishes we love and use them to transform our vegetables. So in this, we have butternut squash that I just roasted. The only addition to the normal olive oil, salt, and pepper is a little nutmeg, because you'd often get nutmeg in that Italian butternut squash combination. And then you roast it until it's mostly soft at about like 425.
Okay.
But then Helen, then's the magic.
Okay.
Then you add a cup, 2 ounces of beautifully fluffy, fresh grated Parmesan cheese right onto your hot. Yes. Yeah, I heard that. I heard that. Yes. Right onto your butternut squash. And you mix it up. Then you put it back in that same oven for 15 minutes until, let me show you, it gets super crispy, cheesy, and brown on the outside. Yeah. And then you take the idea of the sage, because the sage and the nutmeg and the butternut squash, and you just add a little sage. You can also add some rosemary if you want, but sometimes I like to keep it simple with just some sage.
Okay.
And maybe a little extra nutmeg on top. And then what you have is you have that crispy, really sort of caramelized, nutty Parmesan, almost crust on the outside, and that soft, velvety, almost like a pudding of a butternut squash on the inside.
That sounds heavenly. Oh, Rosie, I'm going to try that. I am going to try that. Yeah. That looks fantastic. Lovely. And next,
it's super simple. Yeah.
Go ahead. You're right. Okay, and next up?
Next up, so here's what I like to say. You've got deep fried vegetables and you've got air fryer vegetables, and this is the happy medium. I'm a middle child. I like the happy medium. So this is oven fried cauliflower. It's not as deep fried as the fried cauliflower, and it's not as sort of, unfried, as we'll call air fryer. So what you do is you have really any vegetable works, but you just want a lot of surface area, because the point is to get crispy browned areas. Oh. And don't skimp on the olive oil. So this is 3 pounds of cauliflower, and you want 1/3 of a cup of olive oil, 1/2 a cup of olive oil. And you really massage that in. Right. Then the key to getting the crispy exterior without having to deep fry is cornstarch.
Oh,
so you use a whole.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to give you almost like a crust on the outside, which is what you're looking for in deep fry. But deep frying's a mess and it takes a while, and this is just a lot faster. What I like to do to make it even more crust-like is to add a lot of spices that you can use ground, but I like coarsely ground because they have a little more texture for that crust. So this is fennel, cumin, and coriander seed, and quite a bit. It's like 2 or 3 tablespoons total. Wow. But what's great about this, Helen, is this could be any spice blend you like. If you wanted sort of a fried curried cauliflower, you could use that. Any spice, just use a lot. And if you do have whole spices, coarsely ground them for a little texture. Okay. Then you toss them in your cornstarch. And when you put them on the roasting pan, you just sort of want to pick them up with your hands so that you get rid of any extra cornstarch on the bottom, so you don't get something gummy. You get it really, really crispy. Right. Okay. Then you roast that at another high oven, like 450 degrees. And then what I love is, have you ever made roasted vegetables and it's like they get a little soggy or a little slimy from all the olive oil? Right. Yeah. So with the cornstarch, you get these great dry but crispy pieces of roast vegetable that are awesome as a side dish to like a roast chicken or some steak. But the recipe comes with this fantastic yogurt tahini sauce. So it's yogurt and tahini and lemon juice and garlic. I like to stuff all that sort of crispy fried. Remember, you have all the spices on the outside.
Yeah.
I like to stuff it in a pita, throw some of that awesome, really thick yogurt tahini sauce inside.
Oh my gosh.
And then I put some pickled red onions.
Oh, wow.
And then this is my lunch. As soon as we're done, I'm diving in.
I love it. Okay, I have one question I wanted to ask you. And it's going back to the butternut squash.
Sure.
How do you chop up a butternut squash without, I mean, how do you do it?
Yeah, so you don't want to peel it first, because if you peel it first, it gets really slippery, and I think that's where most people have issues.
Right.
And then you want, Helen, a nice large knife.
Yes.
A small knife gets really slippery, and you get stuck sort of sawing back and forth, and that's sort of where I think
you're describing what's happened.
So if you have a nice, so if you don't peel it first, and then you have a nice big knife, and then cut it right before the bulb where the seeds are. So you've cut this in half, and then you can deal with this half its way, and this half you can seed and deal with it that way. But then you also have smaller pieces you're dealing with.
Right. Perfect.
So peel it, have a nice big knife, and then cut it where it naturally divides, and you'll be set.
I thought you said don't peel it.
No, sorry, don't peel it. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Don't peel it. Have a big knife, and then peel it once you're done cutting it in half.
Gotcha. Oh, you're the best. Rosie Gill, thank you so much.
Good
We're going to
catch.
put the recipe on our website at KATU.com. Rosie, great to see you and great ideas. Thank you.
Good to see you. Thanks, Helen. See you later.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest.